Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tianjin University Ambassador Talks. My name is timothyjhutagaol, and I'm an Admission Promotion Ambassador of Tianjin University. And today we are going to discuss about the study experience in the major of chemical engineering. And we have been accompanied by our current master student, that is Mr. Enio Matusse. Hello, brother.
Hi guys. Hi Timothy.
Yes. How do you do today?
Well, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. It's 8 a.m. right now,
Yes.
and I'm excited for the interview.
Yes, thank you for spending your early morning to have talks like this. I mean, in my area, right now in the afternoon time, so yeah, so we have a time difference. But thank you so much for
I get it.
your time and opportunity to share with us. And of course, whether this is your first time in Ambassador Talk, so would you give us the brief introduction about yourself?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I never thought that I could get such an invitation to speak about myself in this platform. Okay, my name is Enio Matusse, and I am a student at Tianjin University. I went to China in 2016 to study chemical engineering. And luckily, I managed to get my degree in 3 years.
It's amazing.
Yeah, in 3 years. I was supposed to get it in four, but I got it in 3 years. So that was just amazing. And after finishing, I decided to go for a gap year, trying some different things. And then after finishing, I had to leave China, but I still applied for a master's program. And now I'm studying chemical engineering, master's, and hopefully I will finish soon.
Yes, of course. Yes, it's amazing for your experience since the start. And before we discuss about how you can graduate quickly and or what is your experience in the career as well. So maybe I'm curious as well that when you start your study, how do you know about Tianjin University at first?
How did I know? Let me see. I think I had always had an interest in studying chemical engineering in China, right?
Yeah.
So then I started looking up for universities online, just trying to see which universities were good for chemical engineering, which ones were bad. And that's when I found out that Tianjin University had one of the best programs for chemical engineering in China. Exactly. So before applying, I sent them an email showing that I was interested in applying. And it was actually the university that advised me to apply for the Chinese government scholarship. They advised me to apply, and so I waited for the opportunity to apply, and I applied. And then I just waited for, I think, 6 months, because you're supposed to wait to get the results.
Yeah.
And I got the result. I'd been approved, and that's it.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's actually the same with me as well. I mean, I'm trying to search like when I was in my last year of high school, I did also have interest in chemical engineering. So yeah, I found
Uh-huh.
Tianjin University. Actually, I looked at first is the accreditation, like what do they got for me that I think that okay, this is very interesting. And then I see okay, there's a full scholarship basically, like specifically for the major of chemical engineering, not the CGS. So I think we are on the same path at first, like we're searching for opportunities, and we get the full scholarship right in China. And of course, I am curious as well that how did you get your interest in studying chemical engineering?
Oof. My interest. I think I may have to talk about my childhood. But I think my interest in chemical engineering has always existed. I always liked transformations, When I was a kid, I used to be obsessed about cake. I really
Oh, okay.
liked eating
Yeah.
cake. It was always cake, cake, cake. Yeah, if I go to a party, I need cake. So the thing that happened was just I started asking how is cake made, right? Like
Yeah.
how does it go from eggs, flour, and milk, and it becomes that wonderful thing. So I just started wandering and wandering. I would search, I would ask some people, but that interest always existed. So I think it's one of the things that motivated me. But I remember when I was in 10th grade, I had a chemistry teacher who was really nice. She would
Yes.
teach us organic chemistry, and
Yeah.
she really encouraged me because I was doing so well in that in her class. She really encouraged me to follow something that had anything to do with chemistry. So
Yeah.
I ended up choosing chemical engineering.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so starting from your obsession and curiosity, and you ended up being an interest in the major of chemical engineering, and that's actually quite
Exactly.
different with me. I'm actually looking for like major with this with various amount of opportunities that you can do when you have graduated, right? So because if you think about certain industry, okay, I want to go to petroleum, then why not just study petroleum engineering? But I just want to look the bigger picture. Yeah, so I think your starting point is very good, and you have a big interest in chemistry, mathematics, and it's very good as well. And of course, I wonder when you start your study in Tianjin University, when you arrive to study there, what is your first impression of Tianjin University?
My first impression, I think it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being good. Okay, first of all, I was very tired that day. I was very tired because I was coming from the airport and we had arrived in Beijing, and then from Beijing we had to take the fast train to Tianjin.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to Tianjin University, I was quite tired, but I remember it being a very good first impression because right at the arrival, there were people willing to help us. It was me and four other students, right? We all come from the same country. So it was the four of us. We already found people who were willing to help us. They took us to the dorm so that we could check in, and the eyes were also very helpful. I think the school, it looked nice. This was the old campus. The old campus looked actually really nice and full of life, full of colors. And then I went to the new campus, and the new campus was even better. It just looked so modern, everything just beautiful. So I would say I had a good impression.
I see. Yeah, this envies me because, well, right now I'm studying online. I mean, literally from the start of my study, I haven't gone to Tianjin before. So yeah, I think your experience really gives a good, insights for me of studying in Tianjin
Oh,
University. So I think let's continue about your experience when you're studying. So, how is your experience in the course study, like in class?
in class, hmm, I would say was nice.
Yeah.
Was nice. Tough, definitely tough, because as I said, I managed to finish my degree a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So because of that, I had to study a little bit more than everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was that part. But in class, I think the teachers were very nice
Yeah.
since language school to the time I shifted into my major. And in language school, the teachers were very patient because they
Yeah.
knew they had to push us so that we could speak Chinese, but
Yeah.
they still understood that we need time to learn, right? Because it's our first time learning Chinese. We don't know anything about this. Many of us have never been exposed to that kind of language. And when I was studying chemical engineering, I did have some teachers that were very encouraging because, studying in Chinese is very difficult. It's really
Yeah.
hard. You have to focus a lot because first you need to understand the Chinese, and then you need to understand the actual subject, right?
Yeah.
So luckily, I had teachers that encouraged me about their own experience when they were studying because some of them had studied abroad as well.
Yeah.
I think some in the UK, some in the USA, and yeah, they were quite nice. I think that's one of the things that helped me feel motivated, because sometimes it's not very easy to feel motivated when you're in a new country and you don't know a lot of people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, study Chinese is very hard. I'm right now actually studying in HSK 4, but there is a limitation because, well, in the environment, they're now studying online. I mean, try to improve the conversation skills quite hard. Although, let's say you want to spend more time on learning, well, just look at the internet. And so, are you studying Chinese thought major in your bachelor study?
For my bachelor's, yes, but not exclusively, because I was funded by the Chinese government scholarship, right?
Yeah.
There were a few classes that I needed to take, and they were taught in Chinese, but there were some classes that I could do in English because there was the option to do those in English.
Oh,
so it was kind of like bilingual.
Okay, yeah, it's unique because, well, actually, what I know is you study Chinese. Okay, you just study Chinese the whole thing. There's no like bilingual or mixed language. But yeah, okay. So okay, let's go to the main point. How the hell that you can finish in 3 years? How did you like ask the lecturers or the lecturer offer you to do that?
Okay, I'll start from the beginning, right?
Yeah, yes.
When I was still in my country, I had already studied civil engineering for 3 semesters.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 semesters. So it was during that time that I applied for the Chinese government scholarship. So then when I arrived in China, something happened with my application. You know, when you're with Chinese government scholarship, you're supposed to go 1 year of studying Chinese and then 4 years of studying your bachelor's degree. But the thing that happened with me was that there was the option to study chemical engineering in English instead of Chinese. So because of that, the university made me study chemical engineering right from the time I arrived in China.
Oh,
exactly. So because of that, I studied chemical engineering for, I think I did 1 semester. And then as I was about to finish the 2nd semester, that's when they realized that they couldn't do that, right? Like they did a mistake. They should have sent me to study Chinese in my first year, because after you're finishing the first year, you're supposed to have the CSE exam. The CSE Chinese exam. Exactly. So I had to learn Chinese from scratch in 2 months. Yeah, exactly. What you are learning in 1 year, I had to learn in 2 months. So I had some intensive classes. Yeah, very intensive classes. It was one-on-one classes from Monday to Monday.
Yeah, 24/7.
And then exactly, 24/7. I only had a break on Sunday afternoon. And because of that, because I had already studied civil engineering for 3 semesters in my country, I asked the university if I could simply skip the first year because the content was very similar. They said I couldn't skip the first year. But I could do the first and the second year at the same time. So that's what I chose to do. I did the first and the second at the same time. And that's basically how I managed to graduate a little early.
Okay, quite unique and a good mistake. I mean, you can directly study the first major. So you study chemical engineering and Chinese at the same time, or you just have to do it in 2 months, like you say, the last before you end the 1 year.
I had to stop chemical engineering and only focus in Chinese. Yeah, because chemical engineering was in the new campus and Chinese was in the old campus. So I couldn't be in the 2 campuses at the same time.
Okay, yeah, I understand now. I mean, did they? Okay, I don't know how to put this, but okay. So in the second year, that means that in the first year, do you repeat the courses that you have do in Chinese language? When you already study in the first year, do you repeat it? Repeat the course?
I didn't repeat them. Thank God I didn't have to repeat them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I didn't have to repeat them. I just started moving on from where I stopped.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good sign, because they see that, okay, this is just a honest mistake, and they just continue again. So basically, in your second year, you
Exactly. A good
study.
mistake.
Yeah, good mistake. So in the second year, in the third semester, you study double, right? Your remaining courses on the first semester. Okay. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah. So I understand, because I mean, it's not happen to everyone when they can be awarded with scholarship with language courses, and then uh, you start directly in the second year. So yeah, I think that's very good experience for you. And yeah, okay, I never got that, but yeah, I think that is a good advantage, because you now can graduate it right now in 3 years. So I think
Thank you.
what I want to ask, maybe, that do you also participate in other competitions or research other than the academics, Tianjin University?
When I was there, I definitely tried. I really tried, but because of the study, right? Because I was studying
Yeah,
so much, I didn't really have a lot of time. But I think this was close to my graduation when I was about to finish the
yeah,
degree. I did join the Students Association, the International Students Association.
yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to join it so I would help in some of the activities. They usually have this activity every year in which they ask international students to bring a little bit of their culture. So there are some dances, some people can sing, some people can act, whatever they want to do. So I assisted in that. And we would have some trips also. I would help organize the trips, invite the people, and yeah, I think that's as far as it goes to activities within the school. But I would say that among international students, we also had the opportunity to do our own thing. So as African students, we had a union,
yeah.
right? A union for African students. And after joining, I actually managed to be voted as the vice president.
Oh, it's very nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
congratulations for
yeah.
your, what you
Thank
get
you.
as president. Yeah, it's actually very good when you join student association. I mean, you can know people from other countries, or in your own country student union. You can know students, but it is same as my experience as well. I actually joined my own country student association, so it's very good to
Good.
meet people, and to learn something from them, and learn how to be a responsibility. That's a
Hmm.
good start for student when they want to find other activities as well. And I found out that you are also doing internship in Tianjin University.
Yeah, well, I can call it an internship, but because I was about to graduate, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And when you're close to finishing your degree, you're supposed to go through a period in which you had do some experiments. At least for me, that's how it was. I had
yeah.
to do some experiments, and I spoke with my supervisor. No, I
Mm,
searched for a supervisor.
yeah.
Yes, I searched for a supervisor and I found one that was so nice. Yeah, honestly, the best supervisor ever. And she pretty much guided me through the entire experience, right? The entire experiments. I would go to the lab, and there was no difference between me and the other students. I think I was the only international student in that lab, but everyone was so welcoming. They all wanted to help me, and
Yeah,
we had some master students, some of them were PhD students, and they were all just helpful. And because the experiments were not easy,
yeah.
those experiments were not easy. They were really hard. And for me, it was my first time being in that kind of environment, especially dealing with that kind of topic, that kind of research topic. But
Yeah,
they were there to help me. My supervisor was there to guide me through it. So yeah, I call it an internship because I was there all the time basically, because I had to go like
yeah.
from morning to afternoon. And yeah.
Yeah, so this is very interesting experience. So is it the internship or the experiments that you did counted to the credits that you have in the, like when you study courses, or is it a different, is not different, is it not the same with the regular courses?
They count. They did have to count because
Yeah.
in my final semester, I only had one class.
Yes.
So that one class is exactly what monitors all of the activities, right?
Yeah.
So your performance at the lab counts towards that class, and then your thesis also counts towards that class, and
Yeah.
the grade that they're gonna give you after you defend your thesis will also count towards that class.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay. I
Mhm.
hope that I can do experiments because, well, online can do anything unless like learning theory. Yeah, because all of our experiments are postponed, but okay, just accept it. I don't know because it is compulsory as well to do some lab or some experiments. Yeah, okay. So I think I'm curious as well, as like entering your third year or fourth year, do they like give you some, like information on job opportunities, like this is a good company in the future? Do they give you some information like that on careers, job vacancies?
They did not as much as we wished they would, but they did.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was this one time that Huawei, yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Huawei was coming to our
Yeah.
campus, and they simply wanted to talk to the students that were close to graduation. So
Yeah.
at first they focused only on the local students, but then they found out that there was a community of international students in the
Yeah.
university. So that's when they also put us in the loop. And I would say that particular incident was really nice because at the end they had a competition, right? Like an
Oh.
offering. They gave us, I mean, not everyone, the lucky ones,
Yeah.
um, they got a how do you call it, a tablet, and another one
Oh.
got a phone. Yeah,
It's very nice.
yeah, I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything, but at least the experience was good. And most of the time, if you would ask the teachers about career prospects, they would tell you like, "Oh, this one is a good company, that one is a good company," and they would even
Oh.
talk about their own experiences working. Yeah, and even share the industries that were good, that had a little bit more of a projection in the future, and the ones that weren't environmentally sustainable.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's a good experience for you to know like what you can achieve abroad. I mean, yeah, I see Tianjin University has, like they work with some companies, but yeah, I think when you reach the final year or you're about to graduate, you can receive that information. And I wonder as well that, after you graduate from your bachelor that you take a gap year. So, what career or job that you go into?
Okay, gap year. I did choose to take a gap year because,
Yeah.
as I said, I studied a lot. I studied a lot, so I just wanted some time to relax, feel a little bit more free, just understand myself a little bit better. So I chose to take a gap year, and during that year, I was teaching English,
Hmm. Okay.
which is basically what everyone does when they go to China. Yeah, I was teaching English, and it was a really good opportunity because it made me in contact with children. And back then, I wasn't really keen of children. I didn't really like children, but after
Yeah.
that experience, I actually started liking children a lot. It was so easy to talk to them, and I also managed to teach English to grown-ups, right? To
Yeah.
adults, and even high school students.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was a
And
wonderful
yeah.
opportunity. I'm
And I
really
look at
thankful
your
for it.
profile that you work as environmental analyst. So I think that like quite different with what chemical engineering can achieve in their own prospects. So what do you do there in your current role?
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? I never thought that I could be working as an environmental analyst because
Yeah.
back when I was studying, I used to, well, not hate, but I just didn't really like uh, the whole environmental thing. Yeah, and even for a master's, right? Before I started the gap year, I had the opportunity to study a master's in environmental engineering, but I really wasn't interested in it. So I just think it was really funny how I got this job. But let me just first explain you how I got the job, right? I applied for this company for a position. They said they wanted a chemical engineer. So I simply applied. I sent them my CV, and then they called me for an interview. I was there just explaining, talking to them, blah, blah, blah. And that's when they finally hired me. And then when they hired me, I thought that I was going to be doing, stuff that was related to chemical engineering, like
Yes.
processing. This is a Brazilian mining company.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they deal with like processing operations. So I thought that's what I was going to be doing. But then they put me in the environmental department. And I remember at first being a little confused because I didn't know what I was going to do. But it actually turned out to be a really good experience.
Yeah.
I didn't know that this environmental part had so much to it and it was actually fun. So as an environmental analyst, I think all of us have our own process. Mine is the management of water resources. So I have to monitor um, basically all the water that comes into our mine and simply know exactly what's happening with it. Is it being well used? Is it being well taken care of? Are they
Yeah.
not contaminating our rivers? So basically
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay, that's another good mistake. I mean, you're put in the another
Exactly.
department. Yeah, now you have very unique experience that in environment, and then you know about chemical engineering. Yeah, I think it's a good role to have, and a good progress that you have. And of course, I wonder that since you have taken the gap year, so what motivates you to take master's degree?
What motivated me? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, what motivated me was, I think, coming back to my country during the COVID pandemic, right? I left China in March
Mm.
2020, and that was around the time that the COVID pandemic was starting to spread through the world. So back then I was just thinking, okay, what am I gonna do? I just got back home. I don't have a job yet. I'm still trying to understand myself better. So I just thought, you know what, let me just apply for another scholarship because I'm not doing anything right now. So why not invest in my education? So I simply applied for it. I didn't even think I was gonna be chosen, but luckily I was chosen. So that's how I ended up doing my master's.
Okay, so if you don't do anything at all, just apply some scholarship. I think yeah, you are great to be awarded
Try your luck.
again. Yeah, it's very good luck, and yeah, it's a good experience right now that you're studying a master's online. So I
Yeah.
wonder now that you're doing online, is it hard for you? I mean, you've been 2 years right now, have been doing your thesis. How is your experience right now studying online?
It's been hard. I'm not even gonna lie. It's been very hard, especially because now I'm working. When I started the degree, I wasn't working, but now I'm working. So
Yeah.
you have work. You have the fact that there's a difference in the time, right? We're in different time zones. So I would say that I would have to wake up at midnight to attend the classes, and
Oh,
then we had
yeah.
some homework. Yeah, but I managed to finish all of the courses for now,
Yeah.
and now all that's left is just to write my thesis. And unfortunately, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. So I'm really trying to focus to make sure that I can finish on time.
Yeah, yes, of course, because if you're studying online, I think it's very hard for you to manage your time. And let's say, you have a big time difference, right, with China. I think difference in six
Exactly.
hours, 5 hours, right?
Six
So
hours. 6 hours.
yeah, so they start morning class. You just have to wake up in the middle of the night just to do classes. I mean, it's a big disadvantage, but that's the truth of online. But yeah, I mean, well, in my country, actually differs in 1 hour. So yeah, yeah. So actually, I wonder
Okay, a
that.
little easier.
Yeah, so I wonder that you have almost completed your master thesis. So when you graduate, now you have industry experience, you have academia experience as well. Do you have plans? What do you want to do after graduate?
After I graduate, well, if things turn out well, I would like to go abroad again.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think the first experience was so good. Yeah,
yeah,
and it was in such a different country. I
yeah,
always say that the experience I had in China, I don't think I'm gonna have that experience anywhere else in the world.
mm,
But
yeah,
I would like to go to a new country that also has a culture that contracts with mine, so
yeah,
that I can continue with this kind of journeys. I think it
yeah,
really enriches someone's mind to be exposed to people who are so different from who you are. It
yeah.
really makes you think outside the box. You see things that aren't very often very common.
Yeah, of
So
course.
that's
Yeah,
what I would like to do.
yeah, it's a good intention because when you study abroad, you can, especially if you do not know the country before, it will give you like a lot of things you do not expect, right? Because when I choose China for the first time, especially I do not know literally about China. I mean, I do know like Beijing, okay, Tianjin, Shanghai, and then, good development in their economics, technology industry. But like, how is it like to study there? And yeah, that gives me, like a golden opportunity to have scholarship, to study the Chinese language, and then other things as well. And I found out that even if you have learned standard Mandarin, you will have difficulties to like understanding their
Yes.
dialect. Yeah, I mean it's very hard, like okay, why do they speak like this? I mean, yeah, we just have to accept and be familiar with how they speak, maybe their culture as well. And yeah, I think the lecture is very good. And yeah, I do hope that you can all things turns well. You can like go to Europe, maybe go to America. I mean, yeah, it's according to your like what you want to achieve somewhere. And of course, before we end, I think let's for you that you have completed your chemical engineering from bachelor and master, to the prospective students, what do you think is the possible job prospects in the chemical engineering major?
For job prospects, I think that when we study chemical engineering, it's not so easy for us to look into the future because we are all so caught up into the study, right? We're just
Yeah, yeah,
all we want to do is just make sure we pass all of the classes so that we can finish the
yeah,
degree. Yeah. So we end up forgetting about actually thinking about the future. So these are things that I'm also only learning right now, that chemical engineering does have a lot of applications in so many industries, and many of these applications are not so easy to notice. They kind of happen a little bit in the background. So for me, my dream is to end up in the food industry. I would love to end up in the food industry because I simply love to cook. I love to prepare meals and all of those things. But for anyone who's not interested, chemical engineering can be applied also in as you said, petroleum industry. Nowadays, a lot of companies are investing in the whole oil, petroleum gas industry. There's also environment. We
yeah,
need a lot of environmental solutions that chemical engineers can provide, because pollution is becoming really bad in some countries. At least in my country is okay, but I would say that I think India is facing a major problem, and even China is facing another
yeah.
problem. So there's environmental solutions, there's biochemical, medicine, pharmaceuticals. Oof. Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, of
Yeah, there's
course.
so
Yeah.
much, or even research.
Yeah, that's what I realized as well when I choose my major. As I told you in the beginning, that I look for bigger prospects. But right now, I think there's still a lot of out there that I did not realize, because right now,
Mhm.
literally, I'm right now in my fourth semester, so I feel the
Oh,
intense academic progress that I have encountered, like the
good.
courses and how the lecture just like speed up the topic learning and then give you examples and homeworks, and we have to keep it up with it as well. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's a good experience that I hear from you, that you can achieve something like this, and you can have good mistakes that you experience, that improve and develop your own understanding about this major. And yeah, I do hope for your future endeavor to be a success. I do hope that you can achieve what you want to dream and what you want to achieve in the future. And before we close, I think I want rather to give motivation and encouragement for students to choose the Tianjin University as their further study choice.
Mm, well, Tianjin you can literally do whatever you want, I would say. And if there's anything that you want to do, let's say you feel like you want to do a little bit more than the other students, or you simply because I didn't have. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, the screen was disconnected just now.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
can
right.
you please repeat the from my question? Yeah, motivation and encouragement.
Okay, yes. As I was saying, first of all, I think Tianjin University is a very good option, right? Because it gives you a lot of freedom for you to pretty much do whatever you want, especially when you compare it with the other universities in Tianjin. Let's say if you're studying chemical engineering, but you feel like you want to do one more course, one more extra course, you can simply talk with your supervisors to see if that's possible. And I'm pretty sure they will end up telling you you can do it. And I simply love that. I love that you can just go to the library as you wish, walk around the campus, do some exercises. They have really good facilities. There's a basketball court, a football court, a tennis court. Yeah, I took a lot of advantage of it. So yeah, basically, there's a lot of space for you to be free so that you don't end up so focused on school, because you need to work on yourself as well, on your mental health as well, so that you don't become stressed or too worried about stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much, brother, for your inspiration, insights, and experience that you give to us. And I hope for your success in the future. I hope you can, complete your master's degree on time, and your dream in the industry, I mean, can be achieved. There's so much opportunity that lies. I mean, in your bachelor's degree, you take a good experience, and master's degree. I mean, there's so many future in this major. And everyone, that is about this our discussion today about the study in chemical engineering major. And in Tianjin University, we have a scholarship that are available for you who study chemical engineering. There's a social scholarship and the special scholarship in chemical engineering. And for those of you who are wondering about our experience, and you're curious about Tianjin University, you can search the website and in the description below. And thank you so much, brother, for your sharing to us today. It's really insightful, and for prospective students as well who like wondering what they can achieve with this major. And yeah, thank you so much. And I hope that you can achieve the best that you could, what you want to achieve in the future. And thank you everyone for your attention. And please like, subscribe, and comment to this channel, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you everyone. Thank you, brother. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Timothy. Bye bye.